Hello, my name is Arturo Garcia Rojas and I come from Mexico. And I'm going to talk as clear as I can. Okay? Well, then, the organization that I want to talk about is the one that I used to work before I got to Australia. Its name is Telmex. This organization is the largest Mexican telecommunications company and it is headquartered in Mexico City. This company provides telecommunication products and services not only in Mexico, it provides services in Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Brazil, Ecuador, uh, Peru, Venezuela, and other countries in Latin America. Telmex is still the dominant fixed line phone carried in Mexico. Having said that, organizations in Mexico face a complex phenomenon, which is called corruption. Unfortunately, like any other developing country, Mexico is not exempt from this problem. As Morris said in the Third World Quarterly Journal, Morris argues that corruption has been considered a characteristic of the Mexican political system, from the payment of the mordida, which in English means literally a bite. This payment usually goes to the police or bureaucrats. Uh, there is as well the purchase of an amparo, which is a type of injunction, which is used for high-ranking government officials to skip the law, as easy as that. When I'm saying this, why I'm saying this? Because this led me to the first question: how to create an ethical organization in a hostile environment as in Mexico. I am wondering if you have ever, well, have you thought about why there are some irregularities in some companies? Well, if I still were working in Mexico, how do I would define the organization values according to this kind of environments? I think the organization values have to be aligned to the family values, to the way of acting and thinking of the people, not only towards the organization point of view, but from the day-to-day activities of employees. At that process time is when you create a scheme where you align objective and coexistence between the organizations and the employees. For example, I can require any of my collaborators to do something that I wouldn't do as a manager. And that has to do with the values that I'm spreading with the concepts that I'm trying to introduce to the organization. Um, Sometimes it is easier to pay a bribe in order to get a quick procedure from the government. That's true. This should not happen because all companies should be aligned with the law. Okay, how can we fix this? We need to think about that this starts with the values of the organization because you have to follow a procedure and that should be considered in the planning. The first step, you need to consider all the obstacles that you can find along the way. If you define your planning in that way, so you don't have to pay a brief to get a benefit. As simple as that. Well, then the next question is how to manage diversity for an optimal coexistence in the office. Cultural diversity indeed has many positive sides, and I live that every day as an international student in Australia. But it sometimes is difficult as the team assignments. So for Telmax, it will be important that the employees get a benefit from the coexistence and also can maintain their motivation as a team. In general, I think there are two main aspects to highlight when it comes to managing cultural diversity. The third thing is the code of conduct, which means that I have to integrate different profiles in the work team. And the most important thing is the acceptance. Beyond the obvious, there are some issues of mutual respect that cannot be taken for granted. You need to make sure, and it is always important to set some basic guidelines or rule to follow to ensure that the respect prevails. Okay. The second thing is team building. After the acceptance of the code of conduct, the relationship between the workers must be the most important thing. Mm, Living in the same physical space does not make an integration, but if you have a team building, if you have team building activities, this can help to build the trust in each other in order to improve the communication and productivity. Yeah. Well, again, the third main point, which is very important, um, is to talk about the competitive advantage through strategic people management. Okay, an employee is an intangible resource, which means that it cannot be accounted for. And the most important thing is to retain the talent. And you need to stimulate these people not only with money, but you can also encourage them with recognitions. Um, if other organizations steal your talent, you will lose advantage over your competitors. Let me tell you something, investors. Investors prefer companies with satisfied employees because it leads to satisfied customers, especially in services sectors. One last thing is that your employees will have a sense of pride and satisfaction of being part of that organization if you make the things well. Okay. Okay, finally the last point, it's very cold today. Well, the last point I'm going to address is the innovation in telmex. According to Gary Hamel, in his video The Future of Management, we need to forget the traditional concept of business and we have to look for a development strategy that is based on some necessary skills such as innovation and revolution of ideas. This is the key of Gary Hamel's philosophy, actually, and this is very important. The constant search for innovation is fundamental to Telmex. If it wants to consolidate its success, their employees cannot stop working to find new ideas. This is very important. Not just for Telmex. If any organization wants to survive in this era, it needs to have three essential qualities. One, needs to be adaptable. Two, needs to be in constant search for innovation. And third, it has to be an inspiring organization, according to Hamel. Okay, why? It needs to be adaptable because the word change is the key to success. This means that continuous strategic renewals can help an organization to be flexible to changes, and in this way, the organizations can continue to maintain its parameters to success. Okay. And the second one, as I said before, is the constant search for innovation. For Tolmex to consolidate sorry for that word, their success, it is very important that their employees don't stop working to find new ideas. Third, the passion for working and creating is essential for innovation. And like Min had said in class before, nobody gets up in the morning to do a bad job. People need to be motivated in order to innovate. So this is my presentation, and I said thank you for watching me, and I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you very much.